So, have you ever been asked by your client or your patient, do you practice what you preach? Do you believe in what you're telling us to be real? Do you think it works? Yes, I'm sure most of you, as nutritionists, either beginner nutritionist or a practicing nutritionist, you've come across a client or a patient asking you if you truly believe in what you're telling them. So this prompted today's episode, and I'm going to give you guys 10 questions and answers about why it's important for you to practice what you preach. I'm going to keep it short and sweet. And as this introduction, and my name is Charity. I'm a certified nutritionist in Kenya, and I'm also a mental wellness advocate, a nutrition educator, a researcher, and all that jazz. Yeah. So don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, follow me on all my social media platforms, and let's dive into today's episode. So the first question I'll answer is, why is it important for you as nutritionists to practice what you preach? So going back to the opening statement, I don't know how you feel. For me, I feel bad when a patient or a client is asking me if I practice what I preach and if I believe it to work. Because most of the time you'll find us, we don't practice what we tell our clients. We tell them to do this, and we do that, and then they look at us and then they're like, you know what, she doesn't believe in what she's telling us, so I'm not going to practice, I'm not going to do what she says. So the first reason why it's important for you to practice what you preach is to build credibility and trust with your client. Because when your clients see your methods working, your interventions working, they will flock, because people want to find something to believe in, and people trust more in the actions more than just the words. When you tell them, when you portion your food, lead a healthy lifestyle, overall you're going to have a good healthy weight, and it shows through your actions, they will trust you, and you'll build a strong community around you. Yeah, it enhances my personal health and energy levels, because sometimes when I'm teaching maybe a workshop or a seminar or a group of people or my clients, and then it motivates me to also practice what I preach, because I want to have optimum energy levels throughout my day. I do a lot, so sometimes I end up burnt out, I end up forgetting to eat, and then at the end of the day I feel like I'm just tired. Yeah, and then I feel like most of the time when you practice what you preach, and I always encourage you guys to do that, you'll get to understand why when you're telling a client or a patient, do this, and they come and tell you, know what, it's hard, I can't do this, because it will help you relate to the struggles of your patients and your clients, and then it will shape how realistic your intervention and your advice is going to be. Because if talking to one of those workshops or groups as part of my educator series in Charity Safe Haven, and you could see and relate to their struggles, telling you, me, I have a busy lifestyle, I cannot be eating small frequent meals. I want you to come up with something that works and fits my lifestyle. That's why I really advocate for holistic nutrition and individualized nutrition, so that you can fit it to someone's lifestyle and also yours. And then the second question is, what are the biggest challenges nutritionists face in maintaining a healthy lifestyle? I know most of the non-nutritionists and the clients watching this, you're like, yes, we want to know. I feel like sometimes, especially if you run your own business or you work in the hospital, routine work, you'll find some days are busier than usual, even as a business person, and then you'll find that you have a lot of clients demand and a lot of busy schedules that most of the time will interfere with how well you balance your lifestyle. And then for me as a person, I always relate with my clients when I hear, especially the women, saying, me, when I'm stressed, I can devour a whole pack of chips. And for me, I'm like, you know what? When I'm stressed, I also devour a bag of chips. I emotionally eat. And sometimes when I'm stressed, food is usually my comfort. So I feel like that is also one of the challenges. I don't know if how many of you face. You can leave it in the comment section. Let the nutrition client see and relate. Like, sometimes there are good days and sometimes there are bad days. And then I feel like sometimes social situation, when you're going for lunch meetings, you're going for just these places that maybe they'll put you in a place where you will not be able to lead a healthy life, so, or it takes you away from your normal routine, or you go work in a place where there's cultural differences and food, the culture influences the food. So you find one of my previous work, I used to work for a different culture, so you'll find like what they eat is very different from what you eat, and that is what is available. So you find most of the time you're struggling to maintain a healthy lifestyle, because that is where you spend a huge chunk of your time. So you have to do a lot of modification, a lot of sacrifices, a lot of dedication and commitment for you to stick to that particular healthy lifestyle. We are humans, we also face the same challenges you guys are facing. And then the third question is, how do you balance nutrition knowledge and real life eating habits? For me, this is usually one of my pain points too, because sometimes I find I'm very rigid, and I want to encourage you guys to avoid being too rigid, because sometimes the knowledge is there, but applying it into real life situation is quite difficult. You'll find that some days are better, you can practice the 80-20 rule. Sometimes are better, you can eat well, yeah. And then sometimes you're like, you know what, I just want to pamper myself, which is also okay because you're human. And then I feel like for me these days I've been embracing mindful eating, and I told you guys what mindful eating on my social media platforms at Charity Safe Haven, where you listen to your hunger cues, you enjoy and savor your food, you chew, you avoid distractions, and then when you're full you stop eating, yeah. You look at what is in your plate, and then you assess it and ask yourself, am I proud of the plate? If you're not proud, then you're not doing something right, yeah. Lead by example, but show flexibility. You know, some of us as nutritionists, we're very rigid because we want to appear well kept. We don't want to show our clients we're also struggling, and I feel like people relate more to real life issues. So I feel like be more flexible when it comes to that. And then the fourth question is, do you have to eat perfectly to be a good nutritionist? For me, according to me, I've been practicing, I always say no. Perfection is very unrealistic, and I suffer from perfectionism. I always want to be perfect. Everything I do, I want it to be at 100. So I end up overdoing sometimes. So I always just say no. Be consistent and be self-aware, because I feel like sometimes when you do too much you're going to break down, and when you break down you'll not be able to help your clients. And then I feel like transparency with your clients about occasional cheat days, because most of the questions I get is, as a nutritionist, do you have cheat days? Because people want to relate to you with the struggles. Like, you know what, some days I feel like I want chips and I go and make chips. Sometimes I feel like I can make a burger at home, and I make a burger in a healthier way and still indulge in it and not feel guilty about it, you know, yeah. And then another question is, how do you manage time to prepare meals with a busy schedule? For me, because I'm the one preparing food at home, I sort of have like an internal meal plan. So I know what I'm going to eat, and I know which day and everything. So if I know I'm going to cook cereals, I meal prep, I batch cook, and then I pack them and freeze them. So the day I know we are going to eat it, I remove it and fry it that same day, so that it saves me the stress of always sitting and constantly thinking about what to do. So that's why I highly encourage my clients to seek out a meal plan. Even if you don't want to follow, it will be like a guide to you. And then I feel like keeping simple nutrient dense foods at hand. I love cucumber. I love cucumber and tomato salad. So those are my go-to sometimes when I feel like I don't want to cook, but I still want to eat healthy. And then quick balanced meal ideas. For me, I am passionate about cooking. So on my TikTok, on my YouTube, you'll find the just section of different recipes to try, easy to do recipes, and I feel like I should make a guide on that. I don't know if you want me to make a guide on how to make quick balanced meal ideas and some recipes you can whip up. Yeah. And then how do you stay physically active while working as a nutritionist? For me, I find activities that I enjoy. I love walking. Walking has been a major part of my physical activity, and then I do a lot of yoga and stretch. um some days I run, some days I do like HIIT exercises on YouTube. Some days I feel lazy. Sometimes I just walk and I make sure I reach my 10,000 step goal or 15,000 steps, depending on the goal I've set for the day. And then when I've sat down for a while, when I'm editing videos, creating content, typing, and just conversing with people on social media, you sit a lot. So I make sure I do stretches in between and move, and then I set time aside for my lunch hour to go and just walk around the neighborhood. And I feel like for me, major thing that works for me is setting goals. If you can't do it on your own, go to a gym, find a fitness trainer, they'll be able to help you. And then what are your go-to meals or snacks that align with your nutrition advice? I feel like for me, my go-to snacks, like I said, I love cucumber and tomato salad. I love any recipe that involves eggs. Yeah, if it's scrambled, if it's boiled, if it's making my toast bread, if it's just making my fries pizza. Like the best is my eggs, and then I sprinkle some mini fries, and then some capsicum. And even talking about it, I'm just salivating. That is my go-to cheat snack when I want to. I love fruits, so it's mango season, so of course mango will be a standby. I can make smoothie, I can eat it whole. Apples. I feel like I've noticed I don't like processed food. I don't know if it's an occupation hazard or what. I don't know. But those are my go-to snacks. For you to make it realistic, I always tell people for a snack, just pick a fruit. I feel like it works. Yeah. You bring in, it's nutrient dense. You still add in your daily nutrient intake and still use it as a snack. Yeah, because I feel like with fruits you can easily get them around most of the workplaces. Apples, bananas, pineapple, I just feel like that. Because for me, I feel like if you don't, you'll go to the supermarket and buy these packaged snacks, which I don't recommend. Yeah. And then how do you handle craving and emotional eating? I knew this question was coming. For me, I've learned to acknowledge it's normal, because there are days, I think, in my cycle I always feel apathy and lethargic. I'm just like, you know what, I just want fries. And then I go and cook or I go and buy. Yeah, and then I've acknowledged those days to be a little bit kinder to myself and not feel bad. I've learned to practice mindful eating, like I talked about, and I portion the food. I journal a lot. That is non-food coping mechanism. I journal a lot because when something is bothering me, I journal so that I can know what the problem is. And once I've journaled, I've gone for my walk, I've gone to nature to just sit still, and then I find the root cause of my problem, and then I tackle it. And if I cannot, I seek help. Yeah. And how do you handle social situation where food choices are limited? For me, when I go out, I usually just look at what is on my plate, especially in this buffet style. I don't like restricting people. So for me, what I'll do, because in a buffet style, you'll never lack vegetables and proteins. So I make sure that is what will fill my plate more than the carbs. Yeah. And then sometimes I feel flexible because I say this is a once in a lifetime thing, so I will not overthink it, because when I start to overthink, I will start feeling guilty for eating that. And then the last question is, what advice will you give new nutritionists struggling with this? For me, I feel like I always tell you to start small, make sustainable changes. I don't like people making drastic changes because they are not long lasting. And then don't be hard on yourself. Be kind, be compassionate. Yeah, you cannot be hard on yourself. You are all you got, so you cannot be talking negatively about some of these situations. It's okay to crave, it's okay to fall back on what you had planned. Yeah. And then lead with
A few moments later.
be authentic. Yeah. And share your journey, because I feel like people relate to personal stories, and these have come across people, and I'm like, you know what, as creating a scenario where we cannot be broken. People don't relate with that. People relate with real life situation, and if you can share real life situation, then the better. So that was today's episode. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for listening. I'm sorry about the background noises. That is the problem of recording outside, but I'm glad you stayed till the end. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and follow me on all my social media platforms. And until next time, it's a happy new month to you guys. It's a month of love, so make sure you show yourself some love and be kind. So until next time, bye.